was he just kind of came up with his own conclusion, which is fine, but that is so melodramatic, or not melodramatic, the opposite actually. That didn't give me, I can't think of the word I want to use, but it wasn't the same amount of, it wasn't dramatic enough, let's just say that. It felt like they just wanted to rip off the Band-Aid for all of his arcs, just rip off that fucking Band-Aid. We're waxing the Doctor. Like, it didn't feel like he deserved to get to Gallifrey. It didn't feel like he deserved to go anywhere, you know? And it just felt like... It felt like Moffat just ran out of ideas. That's honest to God. It just felt like Moffat and his team just ran out of good ideas. Alright, let's see here. What else do we got? Like I said, it felt like we didn't really get anywhere. And then the very last point I have is that Capaldi felt like a placeholder doctor. Like, I hate that, but it's really how I feel. I feel like Capaldi's doctor was just a placeholder for the next best thing that they could think of. And I think it comes down, all my issues with the 12th Doctor's run has to deal with not the Doctor himself, but the writing of the show. And that's really a big thing, is that the writing makes the Doctor up. You know, the great things about Smith was how he would interact with, you know, all the impossible challenges that came with him. And Tennant was the same way. Tennant had his own taste of what the Doctor should be like, and he had awesome situations that really mesh well with him. And I just recently finished up Eccleston's run again, and really that's another thing, is that it almost feels like Capaldi's run was very similar to Eccleston's run, where there's so much potential, there's so much that could have happened, but it never got anywhere. It just felt like, okay, next episode, and that was it. Whereas with Tennant's run and Smith's run, it felt like there was actually a point. It felt like, oh my god, we are actually, you know, there are consequences to what we do, and here they are. You know, what we know for sure now is that Capaldi is now the president of Earth and the president of Gallifrey. And we never hear about it again. Ever. We do not ever hear about that again. It just drops on the face of the earth. Why even say it? There's no point now. What happened to, you know, the Doctor's going to move on. He's going to go somewhere else. What happened to Earth? What happened to Gallifrey? Are they just, oh, he'll come back? I mean, this is the kind of shit that I feel like Moffat didn't even think of. But, you know, I feel my overall opinion is that whenever you have a new Doctor, you need a new showrunner. You need someone else to lead the charge for the story writing. And this all goes down to the point of the regeneration, is it's to revitalize the show. So if you are going to change the Doctor, in my opinion, you need to change the writer, the head writer. And that way the show feels different, along with not only the Doctor being different, but the show will feel different. It'll be a different take on everything. And to me, that is super important. It needs to feel like, okay, I'm watching a whole new Doctor. And Capaldi didn't feel that way to me. He felt like some of the other Doctors. He didn't feel like his own Doctor to me. He felt like he got really shoddy arcs that really didn't go anywhere for me. And, I mean, like, seriously, we have Pink, who is now, what, the commander of the Cybermen? I mean, Jesus Christ, we never see that again. That's another thing, is we never see him again as the leader of the Cybermen. You know, yeah, there's a chance that they blew up. I don't think they should have. I don't think they did. I think what should have happened was Pink should have become the new Cyberman leader and put everyone else in check. That would have been a way better storyline. But instead, for all the fuck we know, he's just blown himself up. So to me, it just feels like wasted opportunities. Just absolutely wasted opportunities. I mean, I hate to say it because I hate to say to be negative and to bring up a negative vibe in my videos, but to me, Capaldi had so much fantastic potential that was just wasted. All of his seasons just felt like, well, we could have gone deeper into this. I mean, there was no repercussion for anything he did. You know, we never see Davros again. We never see, you know, the Cyberman Legion that was made from human dead. You know, we never see any of it. We never see what happens to Gallifrey after the Doctor just up and leaves. There's so much that just does not happen. And then we move on to something else before we even... I think that's what it is. I think it's the matter... It's a fact of... we move so quickly that we don't really feel the weight of the Doctor's actions. You know? And although that's how the show originally was like, we've changed. And the whole point that Moffat wanted to make with Capaldi's run, to my knowledge... and to my understanding, was that he wanted a Doctor that was like the first Doctor. You know, where he would just help someone, move on. Help someone, move on, which is great. But the problem is, you did that right after the most bombastic Doctor we've ever had, and because you did that, it makes Capaldi look underwhelming compared to him. You know, there were some fantastic individual episodes, but as a whole, the seasons just felt like, okay, next one, let's go, we'll see what you got. It felt like they finished the pitching side of the show and then went straight into, alright, next pitch. Alright, next pitch. They got like 4 or 5 different type of pitches, and then they threw them all together, like Ashilda. Ashilda was a great idea for a character. I loved her. But she didn't really do much. She didn't really have a purpose. And I felt like, well, you could have given her a purpose. You know? She could have been the new Madame Vestra, you know? Which, by the way, we never see them again. We never see our lovely lesbian couple ever again. And they're my favorite couple on the entire show. They're my favorite, you know, to watch. And it's not for the lesbian kissing. You know, and it's... I just felt like it was one disappointment after another. That's really what it felt like to me. Was that they had great ideas on paper, and then they decided, okay, make a show out of that. Make an episode out of that. And then they're like, alright, we didn't really think this through. Because it felt like you could have done an entire arc for each episode, almost. Like, you could have done an episode with, you could have done a whole episode with the Time Lords and Gallifrey coming back. You could have, or a whole season of that. Just one whole arc for that alone, where, you know, he's having to, he almost like a civil war in Gallifrey. And then, on top of that, you could have added, you know, oh, people are starting to see Gallifrey, so now we got to defend Gallifrey. You could have done so much more with that. And then you have a whole other arc that you could have used for all the different cool things. And it just felt like they had planned to do it, but decided not to. So now that I've done all the bitching and complaining, the question is, what are my tips? What can I bring to the table? My insight from the next season. Finish your thoughts. I would like to see, and I know that's rich coming from me, to finish your thoughts, but a lot of the time you have this excellent idea for the show, but then it feels like we move on too soon, almost. And I would like to see more of an arc. I know before you were trying to do kind of like this old-fashioned Doctor Who feel, but I mean, I would have I still like the setup with an overarching story. I like that a lot. You know, especially now that we have Davros returning, we have Missy, we have a new group of Cybermen, we have Ashilda, we have all kinds of great stuff you could use. I just want, you know, a little bit more oomph added to the show. I mean, Jesus, we lost a companion, and I felt nothing. I felt a little. I felt more for the loss of Danny Pink than I did Clara. And I'm sorry if you're raging about that, but that's the truth. That's the damn truth. I felt so just my feelings towards Clara's death were just underwhelming. I could not feel a thing for her. I was like, okay, yay, finally I got what I wanted. Next companion, let's go. You know? And I don't want to feel that way. But at the same time, it just feels like we're pushing out plots and not finishing those plots. That's really what it is to me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Am I wrong? If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Like I said before, I love Capaldi's Doctor. I just don't like the writing that was done for him. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you liked what you saw, please remember to always slap that sexy subscribe button, comment, let me know what you have to say, and like or dislike that video, guys. If you want to see more content from me, you can always check that previous video. However, if you'd like to see another series from me, go ahead and check this out. As always, guys, please remember to be excellent to each other, and I'll see you guys in the next one.